So we approached Adidas back in 2018 about wanting to do, possible everyday uniform change, not an alternate, but like our base uniform, to a more traditional look, or more traditional Texas A&M look that from early 90s, late 80s kind of look. So we already had the 1998 throwback alternate uniform plan for that season, which was Coach Fisher's first year here at A&M. And once we played that game against Kentucky, against number 5 Kentucky, won the game. The uniform was really well received. It was a signature win for Coach Fisher in his first season here at A&M. And so we knew that our fans would appreciate the look, but it was really well received by our players at the time too. And so that's where we approached down about kind of doing a modern take on that core basic Texas A&M classic uniform with the larger Texas A&M font across the chest, the solid numbers, just solid maroon jersey, solid white jersey on the road, solid white pants, have a solid maroon pants as an option as well, bringing back the white face mask, and then going into a solid maroon, which is it's high gloss maroon, but there's no metallic like we had in the late 90s. And then we had it was called like impregnated maroon, just maroon plastic is what we wore in the early 90s and then in the late 80s. And actually the color is very similar to what we had in the late 60s, 70, and 71 on those teams. It's a really dark maroon. So the jersey is just a shade darker than what we've had in the past. And then incorporating the black cleats, which of course was a big staple in the 90s as well. And then hopefully just coming into a real classic look for Texas A&M, which was a pretty good run of championships and wins and home win streaks and such back there in that time period. So we hope everybody likes it and pleased with it, and we can get us a lot of wins in it. Yeah, I mean, really the technology is basically the same. It's just a new, really the texture is going to stand out to some people. If you look closely at the numbers, you can see some of the texture of the jersey pushing through the number, and so that's just allowing it to stretch a lot more, allowing you to actually size down on the player to get a more compact fit, hopefully making it more difficult for a player to be held, but then still be reasonably cool. It's pretty much the same technology all in all that we've used in some form or fashion since 2010, once we started wearing these Adidas Tech Fit Prime Knit type uniforms, and just a really compression fit into everything. So besides those things, and then the updated shoes, and then the new look helmets, it's we're hoping everybody really likes the whole package. Yeah, so there's always a sports marketing loop in these things, and with Adidas creating the new font for us, that was their the one thing that they wanted to include on the numbers was the kind of a Texas heritage type deal, which is barbed wire. And so they incorporated some little notches into the custom number font that they created for us. In addition to the wide numbers, which is supposed to mimic the state of Texas silhouette, which is wider in the middle, a little more narrow at the top and the bottom. So that's a little more hard to see, but yeah, definitely the barbed wire notches in certain places. I think his quote said that he was always fond of just the classic, just traditional looking uniforms, and that was one of the things that when he got here we talked about a little bit, was just how just very traditional minded, very classic. He's a history fan as well. And I think once we did the 98 uniform in particular and it made it out on the field, the more he sat there and looked at that, and he's like, that's, to me, that's Texas A&M football that I remember. He's like, that's the direction that we want to take it. So yeah, I think he was, very traditional minded, and again, he's so focused on football that he tries to leave all of this kind of stuff to us for the most part. It just gives us a little bit of direction and gives us the leeway to run with it. But it definitely has his classic mindset behind it.